Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's me, the South African Wanderer, and today we have a quick video tutorial for you on how to set up for some astrophotography. So there's the car behind me. We out at Marievale. We just went on a bird walk, and we're going to actually get some stars tonight, hopefully. It was cloudy earlier, but the sky's cleared up, so it's looking good so far. They don't normally allow you in at Marievale after 4 o'clock in the evening, but this was a specially arranged event, so we can actually stay here until after sunset, and then we'll get the first stars coming up, and we're going to do some astro-landscape photography. So you would have seen in some of my videos, especially the last trip to Giant's Castle, I do tend to do some astro, whenever I'm out and whenever I've got some clear skies. Marievale is close to Nigel, so it's about an hour out of Joburg on the N3 South, and it should, in theory, have less light pollution than Joburg itself. So, hopefully we do get some clear shots of the stars and then maybe the Milky Way as well. We're close to the end of September, so we're still looking into the Milky Way, so we can possibly still get some of the Milky Way core as it rises or sets. I'm not too sure if it's rising or setting tonight. So I just wanted to quickly show you, the setup I have, for shooting astro. So first of all, I've got my tripod set up. I've been using this Manfrotto B190 tripod for the better part of 8 years already, I think. I got it somewhere close to 2015, and it served me well. I mean, there's a few, there's rust on the handles and things like that, but it still all works and it's all smooth. It's got a three-way head, so it's got the pan, tilt, and then you can go from horizontal as it is now to vertical. So the three-way head. So when I was buying it, I think it cost about 2,500 at the time. Now you probably pay like 4,500 for a similar setup. Not too heavy duty, not too heavy, so I even use it as my travel tripod, and it served me well. Carried it around the streets of Rome with no problems as well. And then on the tripod itself, I've got my camera set up. I've pulled out the 16-35 Canon lens, and I'm shooting it with my Metabones adapter. So for astro, you're not going to be shooting very fast in terms of, autofocus tracking and things like that. So you don't need to have it in autofocus mode. So as you'll see, I've set it to manual focus, and we're going to manual focus on the stars later, and I'll show you how to do that. My 16-35 is a f4 lens, so it does struggle a little bit for astro because, wide open at f4, you are, cutting out a lot of light. I think if you want to do pure astro, you'd want to look for, a wider aperture lens, possibly a 2.8, and you get, I think Sigma does f1.4 lenses that then you stop down and get f1.8, which then allows you, less ISO in the image, and you can shoot even shorter exposures as well. So I've got the lens set up nicely on the tripod. Make sure that it's firmly in, and then I've got my camera set to if you can see that. So I've got the camera set to shoot after a 2-second delay. That's one of the settings you can set up already. We're going to be shooting in manual, and we're not going to, change any of the other settings until we get ready to shoot the astro. So I just wanted to show you the setup I have quickly, and then as it gets dark, I'll quickly do a video on how we find the focus, and then how we set our exposure. Actually, I can speak on the exposure already. So so when you're doing the exposure, you use a 500 rule. So you divide 500 by the focal length of your lens. So in this case, if I'm shooting 16 mil, so 500 divided by 16 will give you just over, I think, 30 seconds. I think 32 seconds as your exposure. I'll put it in the video when I have a calculator. And then, you know, if you start going to 20, then you're limited to a 25-second exposure. If you then move to, you know, 35, your exposure is close to 15 seconds or so, 16 seconds. And why you use this rule is because the longer your focal length on the camera, the more likely you are to see movement in the stars or trails. So if you limit your exposure to that, you know, 500 rule, you avoid those trails. So shooting at 16 today, you know, the longest I'll shoot is 30 seconds. To shoot over 30 seconds with the camera, you'll need remote with bulb mode, so I won't be doing that anyway. And then maybe I'll shoot with my 24mm f2.8. That will allow me about a 20-second exposure and won't cause any trails. And then, you know, we can almost see the difference between that f2.8 on the 24mm and the f4 on the 16 to 35. But other than that, we'll set it up as soon as it gets dark enough, and we can show you the focus. Hopefully there's enough light to actually show you that focus. Okay guys, so we've set up now. What we've discovered, unfortunately, is that the light pollution here at Marievale is a bit more than we expected it to be. So it's proving a bit difficult to actually get some star images. So I just wanted to show you, you know, my setup so far, and then we'll take a shot and we'll see how it goes. Because of all the light pollution around, I've got it at 15 seconds, f4 and 2000 ISO, and then using the manual focus and the focus peaking. So the Sony cameras allow you to you know, set the lens to, well, most mirrorless cameras these days will allow it, but you set your lens to manual, and then using your focus peaking, you can see you can get the stars that are in the picture to be your peak focus. So it's almost infinity, but not quite. So you can see that there's where the red spots are is where the peaking basically is. So this is the only composition we could find for where we are at the picnic spot in Marievale. So we'll do our 15-second exposure and show you how that comes out in camera. So you can see it's actually quite bright because of the light pollution. So the tree we have sort of as our subject is nicely silhouetted, but if the light pollution wasn't there, the Milky Way would be cutting just where that tree is, the tip of the tree on the left branch is. So it would make for good composition. Unfortunately, the light pollution means that it's a bit blown out. So what I'm going to do is take a few more shots, and then I'll edit them in Photoshop, and I'll post the results, hopefully with the Milky Way more prominent in the picture, and you will see that the light pollution I'll try and tone down as well, so then we get a more balanced picture. But I'm going to just keep on shooting for now. Unfortunately, about the light pollution being so bad, PJ was saying he can shoot in his house and get better photos. So this was a little bit of a fail, but hopefully you see how we set up and how we can then get some well, half decent shots of the Milky Way. I'll take a few more and then post them, and yeah, unfortunately we're going to call it a night, but the next time we get more clear skies we'll try this again.